video, we explore Mars Rover Curiosity, its amazing Mars Rover landing, incredible Mars Rover pictures, and how it follows in the path of the Opportunity Rover. This is Mars. From where we are, it's just a little blip in the night sky, but it's big enough for NASA tool and a rover on it. That rover is called Curiosity, and it's been sending back data about the planet for over a decade now. Curiosity is the story of American determination and engineering at its finest. It represents decades of NASA research, countless hours of planning at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, and the dreams of people across the United States who have looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond our world. Curiosity is more than just a machine. It is the size of a small car. It is a mobile laboratory that carries the hopes of generations that grew up inspired by Apollo missions and the first moon landings. This is the first of many videos that will take you to far-off planets and introduce you to the rovers that explore them. Join us as we learn about the incredible journeys these machines have taken and the amazing discoveries they have made. This is the moment that NASA engineers at JPL in Pasadena, California watched the rover make one of the most daring landings ever attempted. A sky crane lowered Curiosity onto the surface of Mars. This is a montage of the best and worst case scenarios as the team at JPL waited with bated breath for their signal. Some were crying, some were screaming, but all were glued to their seats as the sky crane began its descent to the surface of Mars. It really is a nail-biting experience just watching this, knowing how much time and effort went into making this mission a success. And then finally, after 22 minutes of suspense, the signal came through. Curiosity had landed safely on Mars. Houston Mission Control and engineers in California erupted in celebration. The United States had done it again. They had put a rover on Mars. This is a historic moment, not just for NASA and the space program, but for all of humanity. We are now one step closer to finding out whether or not we are alone in the universe. And if there is life out there, we can talk to them. We can learn about their culture, their history, their everything. This is the next step in our evolution as a species. The Mars rover landing was not just a test of engineering, it was a statement. America was pushing forward in space exploration. From the Apollo moon landings to Curiosity touching down on Mars, NASA proved its leadership to the world. This is a CGI animation of that landing. The first part is the parachute deploying, then we have the heat shield dropping off. And then we have the sky crane lowering the rover down onto the surface of Mars. I'm a huge fan of these twin otter landing struts. They're so iconic. I love the way they just flex as the rover touches down. And of course, this wouldn't be an epic moment if it wasn't for the music. This is the soundtrack that played during the landing. It's an incredible piece of music that really captures the tension and drama of the moment. As a kid, this landing made me want to be an engineer. It showed me that humans could do anything if they set their mind to it. The first Mars rover pictures arrived quickly. Dusty, grainy, but real. For the first time, Americans were seeing the Martian ground through the eyes of a new rover. Curiosity had survived the 7 minutes of terror. Mars Rover Curiosity was bigger than all rovers before it. The rover size shocked people at nearly 9 feet long. And 7 feet tall, it was about as big as a small SUV. It weighed over 2,000 pounds. This was not a simple machine. It was a moving laboratory. NASA had already succeeded with Spirit and the Opportunity rover, but Curiosity was built to go further. Spirit and Opportunity explored. Curiosity would drill, test, and analyze. It was designed for deeper science. Curiosity began its mission slowly. Every wheel rotation mattered. Engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California studied every signal. The rover's path was planned with extreme caution. Each meter traveled was history in the making. Curiosity's landing site was Gale Crater, chosen for a reason. Scientists believed this. Crater once held water billions of years ago. The towering Mount Sharp at its center held layers of rock that could preserve the story of Mars' ancient past. American scientists wanted answers, and Gale Crater was the perfect starting point. For the first time in history, a rover drilled directly into Martian rock. The powder was collected and placed inside onboard laboratories. This was groundbreaking. A mobile lab the size of a car was performing chemistry on another world. The United States had brought the tools of science across millions of miles to ask a simple but powerful question. Did Mars once support life? Curiosity carried two powerful instruments. ChemChem used a laser to vaporize rock and study its composition. The sample analysis at Mars instrument could detect gases and organic molecules. Together, they gave NASA scientists the ability to study Mars like never before. It was like having a laboratory from Houston or New York operating on the Martian surface. One of Curiosity's earliest findings was evidence of water. Tiny clay minerals, formed only in the presence of liquid, were found in Martian rocks. This was a breakthrough. Spirit and the Opportunity Rover had found hints of water before, but Curiosity confirmed it with advanced instruments. It proved Mars had once been wetter, warmer, and possibly habitable. As Curiosity looked at the slopes of Mount Sharp, the layers told a story. Sediment deposits stacked for billions of years revealed climate changes, wet periods, dry periods, storms that swept across the surface. America's rover was reading Mars like a history book, one page at a time. The rover's cameras also revealed a dynamic sky, thin clouds drifting in the distance, sunsets that glowed blue instead of red. These images reminded Americans that Mars is not a dead world. It is a changing world. One day, astronauts may look up at the same sky Curiosity captured. In Houston, mission scientists studied the data with excitement. Evidence pointed to ancient rivers and lakes. Minerals showed that Mars had once been capable of supporting microbial life. This did not prove life existed, but it proved the conditions were there. For Americans, this discovery fueled a deeper desire to explore. Driving on Mars is not easy. Curiosity faced sharp rocks that damaged its wheels. Engineers adapted by adjusting routes and speed. Every solution showed the resilience of NASA teams in California and Texas. The rover pressed forward, proving that American persistence always finds a way. Curiosity studied sand dunes, watching how Martian winds moved grains of dust. This was not just science trivia. Understanding Martian weather helps future missions. It prepares American astronauts who may one day face those very dust storms. Curiosity became more than a rover. It became a teacher, just as Apollo astronauts had collected moon rocks for study. Curiosity was now collecting Mars samples. Every drill hole carried the same weight of history. America was expanding human knowledge one scoop at a time. The rover's work connected past exploration to the future of interplanetary travel. Inside its science lab, Curiosity heated samples to release gases. These gases revealed the chemical makeup of the rocks. In some cases, traces of carbon were found. This was not proof of life, but it was a clue, a puzzle piece, the kind of discovery that kept American scientists pushing forward. Curiosity traveled slowly but steadily. Each drive extended its mission. Each stop produced new discoveries, from water to organics to changing landscapes. The rover revealed Mars as a complex and dynamic planet, a place that once could have been habitable. Maybe in the future we might even see human footprints alongside those rover tracks. Mars is not an easy world. Winds howl, dust storms sweep across entire regions. Temperatures drop lower than -100 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet Curiosity endured. Day after day, America's rover kept exploring. One of Curiosity's most critical missions was to study radiation. Mars has no strong magnetic field like Earth, and its atmosphere is thin. This means harmful cosmic rays reach the surface. For astronauts, this could be life-threatening. Curiosity measured the risks so future explorers could be safe. Data from Curiosity was sent back to Houston. American scientists mapped radiation levels, modeled astronaut exposure, and designed new shielding concepts. Every piece of information brought us closer to safely sending humans to Mars. Beyond radiation, Curiosity studied soil chemistry. Some soils contain perchlorates, chemicals that are toxic to humans but could be processed for rocket fuel. Even challenges became opportunities. America was learning how to live off the land on another planet. The rover captured sunsets like no other. On Mars, the sky turns blue at twilight because of fine dust scattering light differently. These images touched people back home in the United States. They reminded us that even in a harsh world, beauty exists. Curiosity's climb up Mount Sharp revealed more than just rocks. It showed changing climates, wet conditions faded into dry desert-like eras. Mars shifted from a world that could support life into the barren planet we see today. These discoveries helped American scientists compare Earth's climate with Mars' past. By comparing Mars with Earth, scientists learned how planets evolve. Maybe in the future, this knowledge could even help us protect Earth from climate disasters. America's rover was not just teaching us about Mars, it was teaching us about ourselves. The journey was not without problems. Curiosity's wheels took damage from sharp rocks, but American engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California designed new driving strategies. They extended the rover's life far beyond expectations. Winter on Mars is brutal. Power levels drop as sunlight weakens, dust builds on instruments. Yet Curiosity adapted. Using its nuclear power system, the rover kept running. Unlike solar-powered missions, Curiosity could survive where others failed. This nuclear heart was America's engineering advantage. Over the years, Curiosity drilled more holes, collected more samples, and returned more data than any mission before it. Every experiment extended America's leadership in planetary exploration. Each success was celebrated in Pasadena, Houston, and across the United States. Curiosity was more than a machine. It was a symbol of American determination. It carried the dreams of a nation that had once reached the moon and was now reaching Mars. Maybe in the future, astronauts will walk beside Curiosity's tracks. They will see the rover's weathered wheels and faded cameras. They will honor it the way Apollo astronauts honored the lunar landers left on the moon. Curiosity will be a monument of the first steps toward interplanetary civilization. Back on Earth, America was already planning for this future. NASA's Artemis program, commercial partners like SpaceX, and centers in California and Texas were preparing the next generation of explorers. Curiosity was laying the foundation for human Mars missions. Curiosity's journey continues. Each sol, each picture, each drill hole adds to our knowledge. From New York classrooms to Silicon Valley labs, Americans are inspired by this robotic pioneer. One rover, one mission, a bridge from today to the future of humanity on Mars. America's journey on Mars did not begin with Curiosity. Spirit and Opportunity came first. They were solar-powered explorers and they opened the door. But Curiosity was the giant leap. It was bigger, stronger, and powered by nuclear energy. It proved the United States could build a laboratory on wheels and keep it alive for years. By 2018, Curiosity had traveled more than 12 miles. That may not sound far, but on Mars every meter is earned. Every drive requires careful planning from Mission Control in California. One wrong command could end the mission, yet Curiosity kept moving forward. Each milestone was celebrated. From drilling the first Martian rock to climbing Mount Sharp, American scientists treated every step as history in the making. Curiosity gave the United States confidence. If we could master robotic exploration here, then human exploration would follow. The success of Curiosity directly inspired the Perseverance rover. Launched in 2020 from Florida, Perseverance carried advanced instruments, a system to produce oxygen, and even a helicopter called Ingenuity. But its design was born from Curiosity's achievements. America was building on its own legacy. The landing of Perseverance in 2021 used the same sky crane system that delivered Curiosity. It was risky, but Curiosity had proved it worked. America trusted its engineering. Once again, the world watched as NASA pulled off another landing on Mars. Ingenuity made history by flying in the thin Martian atmosphere. The first powered flight on another planet. This was a dream that became real because Curiosity showed us how to operate complex missions on Mars. It was proof that American innovation keeps reaching new heights. Curiosity studied habitability. Perseverance is searching for signs of ancient life. Together, they form a bridge in knowledge. The United States is not only asking if Mars could have supported life, but also if it actually did. Perseverance is collecting samples to return to Earth. In the future, rockets will launch from Mars carrying tubes of Martian soil and rock. This mission is bold, but it is only possible because Curiosity proved long-term exploration. works. America's Mars strategy is one mission building on the last. Curiosity also gave us insights into climate. Radiation, dust, seasonal cycles, and soil chemistry all shaped the roadmap for future astronauts. Houston became the hub for planning crew safety. Without Curiosity's reports, human missions would face far greater risks. The cultural impact of Curiosity reached beyond labs. Students in New York, California, Texas, and across the country studied its images. Teachers used its discoveries to inspire the next generation. America's children saw that science could be exciting. They saw a future where they too could touch another world. The United States is now aligning government and private industry. NASA provides the science and technology. SpaceX provides heavy lift rockets like Starship. Together they are building a path for humans to follow in Curiosity's tracks. This partnership is reshaping America's role as the leader in space exploration. The Artemis program will return Americans to the moon. This is not just about the moon itself. It is a training ground for Mars. What Curiosity taught us about survival, Artemis will test in real missions. Every step leads toward the red planet. Launch after launch, America keeps pushing forward, from Apollo to Artemis, from Spirit to Curiosity. Each mission is a chapter in the same story. The story of a nation that refuses to stop exploring. Curiosity is still climbing, still drilling, still sending data back home. It has outlived its original mission. It has become more than a rover. It is a symbol of American endurance, a reminder that persistence can overcome even a frozen desert world. Maybe one day Americans will set foot on Gale Crater. They will walk where Curiosity rolled. They will see its tracks and honor the machine that led the way. When that day comes, history will remember Curiosity as the spark that began humanity's new chapter on Mars. On the night Curiosity landed, Americans in New York City stopped to watch. Times Square lit up with NASA's feed. Crowds cheered as if they were at a championship game. The landing was more than science. It was a national moment of pride. Hollywood could not have written it better. The parachute, the heat shield, the sky crane lowering, the rover. Millions of Americans watched in suspense. It was called the 7 Minutes of Terror. When Curiosity touched down, it felt like a Hollywood ending, but it was real life. Even late-night talk shows picked it up. Comedians joked, anchors praised, and audiences clapped. Space had captured American culture again. For a moment, science was entertainment, and people loved it. In classrooms across the United States, kids asked questions about Mars. Teachers pulled up rover pictures on projectors. Curiosity turned distant science into something real. It gave American children heroes who wore lab coats instead of capes. Hollywood quickly picked up the theme. Movies like The Martian showed Americans what survival on Mars might look like. While fiction, it was powered by fact. NASA's rovers gave filmmakers inspiration, and Americans filled theaters to dream about the red planet. Some Hollywood projects even consulted NASA. Science and entertainment worked hand in hand. American culture thrives when science inspires art and art inspires science in return. Curiosity became part of that cycle. On Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, Curiosity's images spread fast. Americans shared them like family photos. Hashtags trended. A robot millions of miles away became a household name in the United States. Major U.S. news networks ran headlines every time Curiosity drilled a new rock or found evidence of water. It was rare for science to break into mainstream coverage, but Curiosity did it again and again. In Silicon Valley, entrepreneurs and engineers followed Curiosity closely. It gave them confidence that space technology could be scaled. If NASA could land a rover with a sky crane, private companies could build rockets for the next frontier. Some Americans compared Curiosity to Apollo. Apollo showed us the moon. Curiosity showed us Mars. Both missions proved that American engineering could achieve the impossible. Curiosity also influenced politics. Congress supported new budgets for space. Presidents spoke about Mars in their addresses. Americans wanted leadership in space, and Curiosity was the proof that the US had it. At home, families followed along as if Curiosity were part of their own adventure. Parents explained to their children that this robot was working for them. It was searching for answers that belonged to all Americans. Universities across the country joined the mission. From MIT in Massachusetts to Stanford in California, students analyzed rover data. American higher education made curiosity part of the classroom, training the next generation of scientists. Mars entered music, art, and pop culture. American musicians mentioned curiosity in songs. Artists painted red landscapes with rovers in the distance. Curiosity had moved from science into the American imagination. Curiosity was more than a robot. It was a mirror of American ambition. It showed us what was possible when the United States dared to lead. From Hollywood to classrooms, from Silicon Valley to New York City, curiosity became part of America's story. Curiosity has scars. Its wheels are damaged. Its parts have weathered a decade of dust, radiation, and storms. Yet it keeps moving, a reminder that American machines are built to last. More than a machine, curiosity is a traveler. Its tracks tell the story of persistence. Mile by mile, sample by sample, it carved America's signature into Martian soil. Behind every wheel turn are Americans back home, engineers, scientists, programmers. They work in labs, control rooms, and offices. They are the unseen crew guiding curiosity from California and Houston. Private industry is preparing to follow. SpaceX in Texas is testing rockets big enough to carry humans. Starship could one day lift astronauts toward Mars. Curiosity showed the way. Now others prepare to take the next leap. NASA's Artemis program is training astronauts for deep space. The moon will be their test ground. Mars will be their final destination. Curiosity's data is shaping the very way these missions are designed. Across the United States, children dream of walking on Mars. They build rover models in classrooms. They draw pictures of red deserts and American flags planted in alien soil. Curiosity turned that dream into something real. America has always been defined by firsts. First to the moon, first nuclear-powered rover on Mars. Curiosity is part of that heritage, a new chapter in America's legacy of exploration. Maybe in the future, Americans will build homes on Mars. Maybe families will live under domes, walk in spacesuits, and farm the Martian soil. When that happens, it will be because curiosity proved it was possible to survive and thrive on this world. Curiosity even looked back at Earth, a pale blue dot shining across space. It reminded Americans that while we explore other worlds, we must also protect our own. Someday, curiosity will be silent. Its cameras will go dark, but maybe American astronauts will visit it, dust it off, and place a plaque. It will become a monument to the day America's curiosity reached across planets. The stars and stripes will be carried to Mars, not by machines alone, but by humans. When it happens, it will be because machines like Curiosity laid the groundwork. Every rover carries the spirit of the people who built it. Curiosity carried the spirit of America, a spirit that believes in discovery, a spirit that believes the future belongs to those who dare. Curiosity is still out there, still climbing, still searching, a lonely American pioneer on a distant world, reminding us that exploration is never finished. The United States is not finished either. With Artemis, with Starship, with NASA and private industry, America is preparing the next chapter. Mars is waiting, and Curiosity was the first step. If you found this journey inspiring, subscribe now for more. Like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts about curiosity and the future of humans on Mars. Thank you for watching. The adventure continues.